What's up, everybody? It's Cannan.
It's Jesse.
And we are the Geeky Saying Couple, and welcome to our analysis of RWBY Volume 8, Chapter 14, the finale. But first, as you all can plainly see now, we got our original channel back. Yay! It's a long story. Maybe one day we'll do it in a story time or whatever, but pretty much short story. YouTube messaged us, said there was nothing wrong. They apologized. Hey, that's all we needed. So I want to take this time to thank everyone on Twitter and everyone else who supported us, who just, stuck with us and all that, because it was a rough 15 days.
It feels like it's a lot longer. And thank you to all the patrons and everything as well.
Yep. So, as always, guys, if you do enjoy our content, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button. We're back on that road to 500 subscribers. Leave us a comment. Our Patreon link's in the description. If you don't want to, it's fine. We've also got a tip jar for donations, because PayPal's not that great. But, so yeah, before we begin, once this goes up on Monday, we're probably going to take a little break from RWBY for the rest of the week, which of course our reaction to the finale will hopefully be up on Saturday. We do have some RWBY videos planned that we're going to be sprinkling out throughout the next couple of weeks, because once a RWBY volume's over with, we kind of do want to take a little bit of a break and focus on other things. But there will be more RWBY videos, and plus, sometime in the hiatus between 8 and 9, we are going to start our RWBY retrospective reactions for the older volume, so, keep a lookout for those. Alright, so the analysis for the finale. So, we're going to try and keep up our little bit more faster-paced analysis, because this was a longer chapter, and if we really went in full-on detail for everything, this video would be like 2 hours long, and or more, and it's very late at night, so we want to get through it as fast as we can, but cover all the bases. Okay, so very beginning of the episode, we get a more clear shot of Monstra's great haircut that she got. Oscar really did a number on this Grimm. Like, I didn't realize he blew her up that much. Like, it's all the way from the head all the way back to where the tail is. You see the bones, you see that she is still disintegrating, yeah, which, I mean, there's not been a whole lot of time that's happened. Like, this is still technically a fresh kill. And I kind of knew from the moment that we started with Monstra that it was like, oh no, Salem is forming back. She is very close to being back. And it's like, is Salem really going to have an impact in this episode, though? Because there's so much to cover, so much to happen to wrap this volume up. Is she really going to make an impact? Well, we won't find that out till later. So the first thing we see is Winter versus Ironwood. Now, Winter keeps up with Ironwood really, really well. Which, she's a trained soldier. She's, even though I don't think we've ever seen her licenses or anything, she is a huntress, so she is very, very strong in her own right. And, Ironwood's still toting around that big-ass gun, because, he probably couldn't get the job done faster without it. But, he makes this whole, don't you blame me, Winter. I've sacrificed everything, and she corrects him saying, no, you've sacrificed everyone. You closed the borders. You bled Mantle till it broke. She's pretty much saying, no, this is all your fault. Which he kind of hampers her attack by using that big gun. And like she gets him on the ropes again, but then he pretty much pistol whips her. He
pulls one of his pistols out.
And he just starts hitting her with it. But yeah, he's saying now how he's done all this for Remnant and no one is grateful. Well, I mean, when you start just shooting people and then pretty much threaten mass genocide if you don't get your way, I don't think anyone's going to be grateful of you.
No, for the fact that everyone's, like, all the people, even in Atlas, were seeing in the end what he was doing.
Yeah.
Even the people of Atlas were completely shocked and blown away by that. So, I mean...
Anyway, in the void, that's what we're calling it, Penny and Cinder are still going at it. And it's like, once again, it's like a Dragon Ball Z fight or an MCU fight. Just all this flying around and fighting and all that. It's pretty awesome. So Jean and Nora are still trying to get all the citizens through the portal. And, you can tell Nora wants to help the others, but Jean reminds her priority one, which is getting
everybody through.
Yeah, so that's what her and Jean decide to focus on. Weiss, saves Penny because the plan was Penny was supposed to go through the portal so she would be safe. But of course, because we all know that Cinder is after her, though it's really weird that none of them, like, when they were setting up their plan, like, took in consideration that Cinder was still out there. But maybe they assumed she was in the well and got blown up. I don't know. But, she tells Weiss, Cinder's after me. She's after this power. I can buy you all time. If you just let me distract her, you guys get everyone through and you leave. But, of course, Cinder... knocks them both down, and Weiss's aura flashes. It doesn't break just yet, but it does flash here. Penny stands between Cinder and Weiss, saying, I'm the one you want, leave her alone, and then Blake swoops in with this amazing drop kick, pretty much. And she says to Weiss to get up, and she says it really in a very desperate tone.
Yeah, just like pretty much because Weiss hasn't moved yet. I mean, I understand the shock, but Blake's just like, no, pretty much, you have to get up. You can't stay there.
Yeah. So then we go to Crow and Harriet again. Crow, tries to once again talk Harriet, out of doing this.
She had broken the bomb free so that it would start sliding out, but. Yeah. That changes as soon as the other ship flies up and there's Vine and...
Well, Crow tries to talk through to her saying, I regret what happened to Clover, but he doesn't get to finish. And here comes the airship flown by Robin, and Vine and Elm are on top of it, and Elm has rooted herself to the ship, and she's holding on to Vine so Vine can grab onto the other airship and pull them up. She's saying, don't do this. And Hare screams, why can't you just let me do my job? And Elm says, because you're our friend. And
that catches her.
Yeah, like it's wild. Like, we first met them in Volume 7, they said, we're not friends, we're just co-workers. We don't distinguish between two. But then we've learned, thanks to Ren's semblance and now through this, that
they don't really feel that way.
No, they actually do care about each other.
And I don't know if we discussed it in the reaction or not, but I had mentioned that really, if you think about it, when they probably all started the academy themselves, they probably were all just friends.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once they got together, they had become friends. But Ironwood had Ironwood/military had covered that, so they ignored that and pushed it back and thought, okay, no, this is a job, we're now co-workers, we're not friends. But truthfully, they really still were. It's just, it honestly took both Team RWBY and Juniper to make them see this. Like, they needed to go. I'm sure everything happening and what Ironwood's doing has an effect, but a combination of all of that is what's taken all of them that long of time to see that. Yeah. Though Marrow, I'm pretty sure, is known since.
Well, he's the rookie member, so
he was naturally going to see it first.
So, it seems like, Elm saying, because you're our friend, kind of snaps Harriet out of her Ironwood indoctrination, pretty much. And then we have to remember Watts has control of the airship because he's hacked into the autopilot, and the bomb starts, moving like it's going to fall out, and you actually see Hera's like, no, I don't want this to happen, And, Crow pulls out Clover's badge and, like, it's kind of like, come on, buddy, help me, help us out here.
Another thing that Elm had said, we're not even finished, like, before she really started snapping out of it was also,
oh, yeah, Mantle hasn't
finished evacuating. Like, there's still people there, and that also contributes to it. But, yeah, that moment with Crow and Clover's, badge, it's just pretty much praying for help.
Yep, and the bomb does stop, and we have this collective, like, that's good, it stopped, but that bastard Watts turns on the bomb. So there's really nothing they can do. So we go back to the Void, and Ruby is still trying to fight off Neo. And I think it's funny. I think in our reaction, like, Neo easily dodges Crescent Rose, and I think I made the joke in our reaction that she did a Matrix move, and it's funny because Keanu Reeves' character in the Matrix was named Neo. So.
I didn't think about that either.
Yeah, I didn't in the reaction.
That didn't click until now.
Yeah, I wish I could say that's why I made the joke in the reaction, but I was just completely
subconsciously, maybe.
And I just now realized that her name's Neo, and I said she did it. Like, it's not the whole leaning back thing, but Ruby pretty much sends it flying at her, and she just steps over. It's like, it's wild how good of a fighter Neo is. It's like, even after what happened in Chapter 13, I can't hate Neo.
Like I said, I still look at her as an anti-hero.
Well, it's mostly because Cinder has manipulated her into thinking Ruby's the one that killed Roman, but stuff, happens later this episode. That working relationship is over. But, so yeah, they keep on fighting, and during all this, Penny and Cinder are still going at it. And, Weiss pretty much saves Ruby from Neo. And she sends Neo into a portal, not the Vacuo portal. It's one of the portals that is connected to Atlas. And, I'm sure the White Rose shippers are going to like this little moment, but it doesn't last long because Cinder pretty much has
targets.
And it's like a bomb in a way forming under them. And I didn't make the joke in the reaction, but it's not like when Weiss pushes her away, thanks to the subtitles, it's like, oh, why save Ruby from the whooshing? Because it says whooshing. So it blows up, and Weiss goes up. Weiss comes down. Her aura shatters. So that's another aura shatter. And, like, it makes, like, I don't think I've seen anyone, but I'm sure some have probably thought, why are Team Ruby going down this fast? Because, yes, Cinder is a maiden, but they shouldn't be getting taken down this easily. Well, remember, Volume 8 took the course over 2 days, and it started right after the events of Volume 7. They are spent.
Yeah, none of them have had a full aura. Like, they've all recovered and built aura back up, but they keep losing it because it just doesn't stop.
Yeah, so I love Neo balancing on Crescent Rose. She's like I don't know. I love Neo. I think she's an amazing fighter and has always had one of the best designs in the show. So, like, I hate to say that, just like Yang, Ruby kind of got owned a lot in her fight with Neo. But I like it that it shows that even though after all that training with the Aesops and all that in Volume 7, Ruby and them still have a ways to go to catch up to the more, I guess you could say, worldly characters who have been through the stuff. But then again, like we also said,
they're spent.
Yeah, they're spent. They're tired.
They're relying on desperation in some ways.
Yeah. So Neo actually knocks Ruby off, but Ruby falls onto one of the other platforms, but Crescent Rose falls into the void. Now, if you were still doubting that Ruby, Blake, and Weiss were also going into the void, this was the moment we were like, yeah.
Ruby's not going to just let Crescent Rose go.
Yeah, like, I don't see, like, you could have always made the argument that she'll build another one, but when are they going to have the time for her to sit down and actually build a whole new weapon? Also, I think we've already passed it, but there was a moment where, yeah, it's when Weiss saved Ruby from Neo, where Weiss says, come on, we need to do this for Yang. So everyone, like, we as the audience know that Yang is not dead. But to the characters, for all they know, falling in there is instant death. That's just what they think, because, you know, that's the unknown. People fear the unknown. So for all Ruby, Weiss, and Blake know, Yang is dead. So back with Crow and them, you know, they're like, come on, get over here, let's get out of here. But Harriet says, you know, there's no time for them to get out of the blast range, and she says she's killed them all. So
guilt's coming over her in that way anyway.
She's finally, and like, it's guilt, but it's also she's finally realizing that she's in the wrong, and going with, like, this is a theme that I'm going to go on with for the rest of the analysis when it comes to these two characters. There's kind of a parallel between Winter and Harriet. Both were under Ironwood's grip, but Winter started seeing Ironwood go mad pretty much, and she started doubting him. Harriet also saw him going mad, and even though deep down inside she knew he was wrong, she stayed under his grasp. At this point, Winter realized soon enough that she needed to do something about it. Harriet is realizing now that she was in the wrong, but it's too late. It's the classic case of a character realizing their follies way too late, where for Winter, she realized it in time. So
yeah, and what helps with that also, like, yeah, I'm sure you could tell that Winter was starting to have some doubts to begin with, but that it still goes back to that talk she had with Weiss.
Yeah.
That planted the seeds to lead her to where she is now, which also leads to later in the volume, I mean, not just with what happens, but in her being her sister and all that, but that leads to more of the effect of that. Like, Weiss really they really had a close sister bond in that talk, and it's all led up to this at this point. That's another reason why I know Winter, with her doubts, is what let Weiss and them get away after that first fight with Cinder.
On another note, Winter is just the best. For me, she's the MVP of this volume. Winter is the MVP of this volume for me. So Vine jumps over to the other ship, and I think I did kind of like I loved how he kind of like coddles Harriet, like and just like cradles her over like a little like oh, my little misinformed baby, I'm gonna set you over here. And I realized right, like, the moment he looked at his hands, I knew what he was going to do. Elm says, no, you can't. He says, I can if it means saving all of my friends. Now, a lot of people have said this one didn't affect them a whole lot because we really didn't learn much about Vine. He was a mystery for all of Volume 7 and 8, but little things here and there in Volume 8 were showing that he had more of a character than what we were seeing. You know, him putting his hand on Elm's shoulder after Monstra blew off, even though she, you know, but she's a proud character. I like Elm. I'm really glad that she, next to Marrow, was the next one to realize things were not right what they were doing.
Yeah, and which now that we've finally seen it, and since from what I've been saying of how from the beginning them deflecting in that order, it does make sense, and it makes sense why we then slowly started seeing Vine, like, about him. Like, Elm, yeah, she's a very proud character, but also it had two meanings when she shoved him off. Yeah. It was, you know, no, I don't want, you know, pretty much she doesn't want any of this, and she doesn't want the comfort for it either. Yeah. Because she, you know, that was at that point, he was always hard to read, but he hadn't hit his major turning point yet.
Yeah. But, yeah, I'm really interested in seeing what they do with Elm in later volumes, like where her, Harriet, and Marrow will go. But this was also very interesting. Like, to me, that's precious seeing Elm hold on to Harriet.
And the thing is, if you think back through the volume, even when they said they weren't friends, little things here and there would show they are. Like, but we wouldn't know to go back and look for those little hints until now.
Well, this is big because, you know, Harriet has always been the one to say she doesn't care about the others. They're not friends. You know, she's been this stubborn, very, you know, loyal soldier.
The hair.
Yeah, but right here, when Vine is literally about to sacrifice himself, she screams out no and starts crying and all that, showing that deep down, Harriet does have a heart. She does care about them. And like I said a minute ago, sadly, this is her realizing her follies too late, and it's costing her one of her friends. There's kind of a parallel there later in the volume. And, you know, all Crow can do is just look at him, you know, pretty much in a way, I guess, a sign of respect.
Yeah.
And, you know, Crow you know, the ship goes off, Crow jumps off, turns into a bird, and flies away. And like I even said in the reaction, oh my God, he's going to bubble the bomb. And that's exactly what happened. Now, whether you cared much for Vine or not, because like I said, we didn't really get to see him as a character.
It was still heartbreaking.
Yes, this was a noble sacrifice. He's a hero. Even though, like, really the only ones he was able to save was Crow, Robin, Harriet, and Elm, because they wouldn't have been able to get out of the blast range. And I mean, yeah, there are still people technically down there for all we know. So yes, he did save them, but as we learn later, Mantle is still doomed. But thankfully everyone, you know, well, we'll get to that later. I'm getting ahead of myself here. And then, you know, we just get this sad little thing of, you know, Elm and Harriet, you know, looking sadly at what just happened. So Elm, Harriet, and Marrow are the only surviving members of the Aesop so far. And for all we know of the Atlas military.
Yeah, well, the other thing also, when they had mentioned about, I didn't think of this before, when they mentioned they hadn't gotten everybody out of Mantle. They don't know this.
Yeah.
They don't know how many, that they've gotten probably mostly everyone out of Mantle.
Yeah.
That they had, because they had gathered everybody. So, since they had gathered everybody with them would have had to have come through. So, they don't know that. So, they don't think that everything's evacuated, because they've not heard anything else.
So we go back to the Void, and, you know, this is a pretty cool moment on Ruby's end. You know, she says to Neo, you know, whatever you wanted, I hope it was worth it. And it kind of does piss Neo off, and she rushes for Ruby, but Ruby does this cool move where she uses her semblance to dodge Neo, go under the platform, and it does knock Neo off, but Cinder, of course, hits Ruby, and Ruby goes over as well, and she's literally hanging by Neo's foot. I'm actually surprised Neo didn't
kick her off.
Yeah, she didn't try to kick her off or anything, which was very surprising.
I think part of the thing also is, like, the grudge that Neo's holding on what Cinder has manipulated her to believe, knowing Neo, she'd want to end Ruby herself. She wouldn't want to just kick her off. So that's the way I see that anyway.
So, besides Vine's death, this was the most shocking moment. The second shocking moment of the episode. Neo reaches out to Cinder for her to help her. Cinder takes the lamp and says, you know, you never should have threatened me. And then she says to Ruby, you should have never been born. And she knocks them both off. So I expected Ruby and Weiss and Blake to either jump or fall off, but I did not expect Neo to go over as well. That was a shocker.
Either.
Well, actually, I had made the prediction that I thought I kind of just lied there. I'm getting way ahead of myself. I expected either Cinder or Neo might fall, or maybe both.
You had mentioned that you thought maybe that might be a possibility.
But I didn't think it would actually happen. Yeah.
Which in turn, in the end, one of the theories that we'll talk about is this. It has a reason.
Yeah.
Like, there could be a huge reason that
Neo redemption. Who knows?
Like, we've always talked, you know, and I've mentioned in others that I've always seen Neo as an anti-hero. She kind of, in a way, I'm not sure if I really mentioned it. I think I mentioned it once before in videos.
We've done over almost 300 videos, so I can't remember.
But she kind of, in a way, like, the way she moves and her fighting and things like that, she reminds me of Harley. I have compared her to that before, and it kind of makes sense a little bit, because Harley's an anti-hero. Neo kind of fits that, too, because she's not bad. And, I mean, Cinder obviously manipulated her, which... Harley had that too.
Is Cinder Neo's version of the Joker then?
In a way, think about it though.
Maybe.
It kind of makes a little bit of sense. I mean, I'm not relying a whole lot on that, but like, just the basic concept of that. That's kind of exactly what that is. Because, well, think about it. Joker pushed Harley into the vats.
Yeah.
She just knocked her off.
Yeah.
So, it kind of fits.
So, yeah, this kind of means that if no matter how things go, Neo's going to be out for Cinder now, way more than we thought she was going to be. But anyway,
I always knew she'd turn, but I didn't expect this. So this is definitely going to make a drastic change.
So, Ruby is falling as well. Penny is literally like, she has got a hold of Blake, and they both scream out Ruby. So... Penny sees that Cinder is going to attack, so she just throws Blake, and of course you can see in the back, poor Penny does get blasted by Cinder, so, who says cats can't fly? She does succeed in grabbing a hold of Ruby, and she pretty much uses Gamble as a grappling hook to keep them, you know, so she can get them back.
And it latches, but...
Yeah, but Cinder burns the ribbon off of Gamble, and both Blake and Ruby go into the void. So Ruby and Blake went together. Now, so that's already told us the otherworld theory is right.
Yeah, that,
like,
and, I mean,
before we've seen anything else.
The theory we made about how they fell, we're kind of wrong. Like,
yeah, because
the
they didn't
last
go...
two, because technically, yeah, Blake and Ruby fell together, but Blake fell below Ruby because she had caught her.
Yeah.
So Blake went down. So we were right about that, but we weren't right about the third. The third one was obviously Ruby.
Yeah. Well, we also thought maybe they would jump willingly, like maybe something would happen where they would learn that Yang isn't dead. But no, this is like full going on that Cinder and everyone else is going to think Team Ruby is dead when they're actually not. But I did like the fact that the whole time Blake was also making sure that Ruby was okay, like, you know, kind of the whole fulfilling Yang's wish of protecting Ruby. So it's kind of also still building that Blake and Ruby sisterly-like relationship that a lot of us have been wanting, especially since they've really started building Blake and Yang as a romantic relationship. So, here's the thing, though. If you notice, when they failed, they eventually did separate. So, are Blake and Ruby still going to be in the same area together, or are we going to have separation? We don't know yet. But, now Penny thinks Ruby's dead. And this was heartbreaking. Weiss has Gamble, and she's shooting at Cinder, and she's got tears in her eyes because she now thinks that her whole team, her family, is dead. But it's wild that Weiss was the last one.
That's where our theory, it was mixed, and we having to switch them at this point.
Yeah. That's wild. But anyway, Jean tells Nora, go through and get every huntsman you can. May, all of them. And in my reaction, I'm like, no, don't do that, because they don't know that it's a one-way trip. Once Nora steps through, she can't come through. And I really wanted Nora to jump up and just swat Cinder with her hammer. I really did, but That didn't happen. So I was like, no, 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 don't do that. You won't be able to come back.
Because the electricity would have stunned her, because electricity and fire combining is overload.
Yeah. But yeah, Cinder's making like it. She says it figures that Schnee would be the last one. You know, you let your friends die and all that. So she's trying to, you know,
she's trying to bait her.
Yeah. And then, which, you know, Penny steps up and says, "You don't know anything about friends." Then John joins the fight, which that was pretty cool. And like they catch her off a little bit, but
it's because her arm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's when this happens.
That's why it caught her off guard, because
her grim arm started to spasm, and she makes the announcement she's back. So now we know officially that Salem is 100% back. So I was like, oh, great. That's great. Now we've got Salem to worry about. So the fight continues. And this is when things... this is when things got really, really bad. I mean, we knew something was going down, because at the very beginning of the episode, it gave a warning that this episode dealt with death. And Rooster Teeth had put into the episode description the suicide hotline number. So I was like, oh no, what's gonna happen? And well, I believe in Volume 7, Cinder had been able to grab a hold of Penny to try and get the powers, but Penny was still a robot at that time. Well, Cinder gets her with the claw, but this time the claw actually pierces through her, because you can see blood. And I didn't know what was going to happen at this point. I think you were already panicking.
I was already panicking, and
it's just it's like, and I think in the reaction I was like, John Weiss, do something. And like it shows Weiss in slow motion about to attack Cinder, and we see it from Penny's point of view. She falls backward. Jean runs up, and he says, "Hold on, he's wanting to use he's going to use his semblance to heal her," which I mean would have worked. Well, she says it's not enough to heal her. Like it depends on. I mean, I guess Cinder pierced enough to where it was already a fatal injury. I'm not sure.
But I think also part of her knew that if she did, if
Cinder would have just kept on.
Yes, and Cinder would have gotten the powers, and she doesn't want her to have them.
Now this is where the episode got tough for a lot of people. Penny says, but there is something you can do. Yes, Weiss is dual wielding Gamble and with her weapon and Gamble, which was pretty interesting. And she reaches for Jean's sword. She says, "Trust me." And I was like, "Oh no! Like, you're wanting Jean to do that?" And she says, "Let me make this one choice." Pretty much saying, "Let me make the first choice I've ever gotten to make for myself." And then we see
Gamble go. The other half of Gamble go over.
Yep. And so, Weiss is not in a good, Weiss is exhausted. Her aura's spent. Like, she's almost got nothing left in the tank. We hear Jean scream. And, is this when we see it? Was it before
I think it's after.
Okay. Well, anyway, we skip back to the fight between Winter and Ironwood. Ironwood's got the upper hand on her right now. But yeah, we hear Jean scream and cry, and his tears hit the ground, and then we also see drips of blood.
I was gone at this point.
Yeah, so in probably what is probably one of the most hardest things to do, Jean killed Penny because it's what she wanted. Now,
Well, we don't know if he really
Well,
did.
well,
'Cause,
I don't know.
like, we don't know, because they kept it off screen. But the thing is she's...
Well, he wouldn't have screamed and cried if it hadn't have been him.
Well, no, but also she sacrificed herself.
I know, but there's already people saying this glorified suicide when that's not the point of it.
She's doing this to save everybody.
Yeah. So
she's taking on that she's still the protector of Mantle. And
we get one last salutations.
But then we saw this, and something else clicked in my mind after the episode.
Yeah.
Volume 7's opening.
Yeah, pretty much. It was it might as well have been foreshadowing.
I'm pretty sure it was a foreshadow, and it killed me even more.
Yeah. So Winter meets her here, and Winter is in her Volume 7 look because that's
the last time that she saw her.
Yeah. Winter is at first confused, and Penny says, "I thought of you," and here we are, and that tells Winter everything. She's heartbroken.
She's heartbroken.
Yeah,
and it's...
Yeah. And then, Penny says it seemed fitting that it should be you because this power was always meant to be yours. And then Winter says, "No, you were always the real maiden at heart. I was just a machine just following orders." Which, I mean, this goes further back with my parallels between her and Harriet. Winter realized soon enough what kind of road she was heading down, so she did something about it. Harriet did not. She eventually did, but she was too late. And then this was heartbreaking. Penny says, "You were my friend," and it just
I'm gonna cry again just seeing it all.
Yeah, and I mean, she smiles and starts giving the power to Winter, and Winter says, "Thank you for trusting me with this." And she says, she says pretty much something on the lines of "when you're gone," but Penny says, "I won't be gone. I'll be a part of you." And she says, "Good, I'm glad," and Penny fades away.
What gets me even more is...
I'm getting choked just thinking about it.
What gets me even more is she finally became a real girl, but she never got to see her dad.
Yeah.
So I think Pietro may have thought that when she fell from Amity...
that she was gone then.
That she was gone.
Yeah. And I mean, that also reminds me, Maria and Pietro have still not come down.
The only good thing that we know about that, since it hasn't come down, they're still safe.
Yeah, but the fact is...
What's gonna happen? Yeah, I know.
Where are they? We didn't see them at all this whole finale. Now this pissed me off. "So the destiny I chose for you has arrived." Like, you pompous asshole. Like, really?
Oh, that pissed me off even more.
But she's like, "You chose nothing. This was a gift." And I was like,
oh, that killed me again. Like, I started calming down, and then
I was like, "Oh, Winter, just blow through him, kick his ass," And this was cool. This was really, really cool. So okay, so let's cover this real fast because I'm sure there's going to be people saying, what was the point of Penny getting the maiden powers for Winter to end up with them in the end anyway? Well, it's because Winter needed to go through an arc of finally realizing that she did not need to be following Ironwood. She needed to realize what kind of road he was really going down. Because if she had gotten the powers at the end of Volume 7, yeah, she would have been the maiden, but she would have been under Ironwood's control.
Yeah.
So that's not that way now. This was I love this shot. This may be the reaction thumbnail for all I know because it's such a great shot, and Ironwood's got this look on him like, "I'm fucked."
Yeah,
like he really does.
He uses that damn gun.
Yeah, he fires at her, but Winter just deflects it right back, and it just blows him away pretty much. So we get back to the Void, and of course Cinder is pissed off because guess what? She realizes that she didn't get the power, and I made the comment in the reaction because I was getting so into this finale. Like, I was like, "Yeah, you didn't get it, you
bitch."
Yeah, I did say that, but
which is, I mean, just bluntly true. I
Yeah.
mean,
So
that's all she's out for.
yep. So she attacks Jean, and Jean, bless his heart, has got tears in his eyes. I'm sometimes thinking it should be Jean who takes Cinder out, because she killed Pyrrha. All the stuff, the stuff that was said in Volume 5 when he confronted her. Now this. I mean, I know a lot of people want it to be Ruby. Like, I don't know. Like, between Ruby and Jean, it's 50-50, I think, at this point.
The other thing I pointed out, and I don't think I did it in the reaction, was the thing between Penny. The first time she died was it was technically because of Cinder, which Pyrrha caused because of Cinder. Well, now it's
Jean.
this.
Yeah.
It was Jean. Not that he did anything, but
he
let her make the choice that she wanted.
It's a sad Arcos parallel, but...
It is, and I noticed that, and it just kind of made everything even more emotional.
Yeah, and so now Cinder broke Jean's weapon, so now Jean's going to need a new weapon eventually. And it still has Penny's blood on it. She's like, where did it go? Where did my power go? Like, so, like, it's funny, like, from between chapter 13 and this one, she's, been on this rampage and being all cocky and confident, and since she didn't get that power, she's losing her cool again.
She's coming closer to an end here. Like, she's not getting what she wants. She's getting more desperate. Well,
and then Winter shows up, and now this was so cool. This is like the coolest thing ever. And of course Cinder attacks her. We get once again another maiden versus maiden fight. Now, I was wondering how this was going to go, because let's face it, Winter probably is a way more skilled fighter. So I was thinking that she's probably going to do better against Cinder, because it's like Penny wasn't trying to beat Cinder. She was more or less just trying to keep her preoccupied, where I think Winter was like, I'm ending this girl's career right now. Because like it's so funny, because the last time Cinder went up against a maiden who was actually a formidable opponent, aka Raven, things didn't go very well for Cinder. So I think that's kind of showing that when Cinder actually goes against a fighter who actually probably has more experience than her, she's not as powerful as she thinks she is. Because
now I think another thing I've noticed is...
because Winter does start to own her a bit.
But she's reverting back to when we learned her backstory when she was younger. She's relying on anger.
Yeah.
She's... like, she had gotten all this confidence now, like, and then all of a sudden now, as things are getting worse and worse for her, she's relying on anger, and that's going to be an end for her.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be part of her end, is because she's just so focused on anger versus thinking about things.
Yeah. Now, this was cool. This was a cool little side here. And I really think if this fight had kept on going, Winter more than likely would have won. But, Cinder notices that Weiss is trying to help Jean into the portal, so Cinder takes advantage of that. She sends a blast their way. Jean throws one of his, shield things at her to, like, protect them, and sadly it doesn't work, and Weiss gets knocked off. Weiss is the last member of Team RWBY to fall into the void. Now,
and this kind of goes with what I had mentioned about Winter before.
Yeah, like, she screams Weiss's name.
Because they were finally getting close again. Like,
yeah,
over things, and this was I think the final draw for her.
Yeah.
Like,
because she comes over and she's whimpering. She starts crying. So we finally get to see Winter let her wall down, and because has she always technically kind of been rough on Weiss? Yes, but it's because she wants Weiss to be the best that she can be. Because at the end of the day, Winter loves Weiss. She's probably, for the longest time, Winter was the only family that Weiss probably saw that she had, because, how her father was, how Willow was, how her brother was being molded by her father, and how he was becoming. Winter was really the only family support she had. And we saw in Volume 3, that yes, Winter was rough on her, but Winter still cared about her. So
And
this
seven's
is,
where we really started seeing more of that. And
yeah.
then that's also, like I said, that leads to her talk, which planted the doubt seeds.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only evolved from there.
Yeah.
So now this is just...
Yeah, because she thinks Weiss is dead at this point. So yeah, we hear like this really creepy scream or whatever, and like I thought maybe it was Salem, but
I think it's because she has that.
well, that, or I thought maybe it was a sign that the void is about to disappear because everyone's made it through. All the citizens have made it through, so the place is going to start disappearing, and that's what it does. It starts. Yeah, we hear this really horrific scream, and they even say we need to go because the place is going to start disappearing. And Winter makes this declaration, looking at Cinder: you are going to pay for everything you've done." So, should Winter be put into the equation of the ones who take down Cinder? We don't know. So yeah, the place starts to fade away, and sadly, Cinder flies off with both the relics. And people have already made the joke that Winter forgot Jean. Because she just starts flying away, and John, bless him, is trying to outrun this, and she only realizes, oh yeah, I might want to get him. And I was shocked. The one person I did not expect to fall into the void was Jean. Jean fell in. So,
like, she turned around to grab him, and it pulled her through.
Yeah. So here...
And then we've seen now, since Nora went through, she's been trying to come back.
Yeah, we go into Vacuo, and I'm surprised that Emerald, Ren, and Oscar have done a pretty good job of keeping the Grimm away from the citizens. But yeah, Nora's at the portal. She's banging at it, trying to get back inside, which sadly we all knew was going to happen. And then all the Grimm pretty much get zapped, and Winter comes through the portal. She does acknowledge Klein, Whitley, and Willow, and she looks at them, and tears start rolling down her face. But that they really have no time to rest because more Grimm are coming, and we get this really cool looking one. Like, man, the Grimm. Like, I think, I don't know if this is one of the ones that was described in the novels, but the Grimm of Vacuo, I think, are going to be wild looking. And so, Winter goes right in for the attack. So we go back into the vault, and Ironwood is still laying there like a big old lug on the floor. And of course, here comes Cinder with both the relics, and Mama Salem shows up. And it's funny, if you watch the episode, Cinder goes from a smirk to like a look of horror. Yeah. When she realizes Salem is there. And we see Cinder turn into the biggest groveling servant I have ever seen. She pretty much, I'm sorry, I failed you. Ruby and her friends used the staff to get everyone out. This and that happened. She blames Neo for things going wrong, and then she says, I was still able to get the relics for you and all that.
And they used the first question.
Yeah, she lies that the last question was used by the others, but not her. Oh.
She's doing this also, though, because she knows there's still another maiden she can go after to get the power. So she's going to use this groveling act for as long as, she's left in the show.
Well, here's the thing, though. She bows, and all that, offers the relics, and Salem buys it. I'm like, lady, you have been around for how long? You buy this? Like, I'm kind of hoping she doesn't, and she's just acting like she is, because I guess she needs to keep Cinder around for right now, but
all she seems to care about is she has the relics.
Yeah.
She doesn't care about the power. She wants the relics.
Yeah. Says you've done well, who cares if there were any kind of sacrifices, we got what we needed. And she says, let's go. Their time in Atlas is over with. And Ironwood's just laying there like a big old lug and they don't even acknowledge him at first. He's like a fly on the wall to them. And she says, I assume you rid the world of their creation. And Ironwood's looking at his guns like, really, Ironwood, you think that's going to do anything at this point? I mean, really? Like I know your semblance is the way it is, but you got to be really thick-skulled to think you're going to do anything at this point. And she asks Cinder, what did you create in its stead? And Cinder says, I merely added more flames to the fires of Atlas. And she left Watts to die. He is inside this place screaming, trying to break the windows with a chair. So I think Watts is gone, y'all. Like, he either died in the crash, drowned, or died, or was burned to death, or he died of smoke inhalation.
Yeah, because I mean, it makes sense that, like, since she came down to the vault, she obviously went through, made sure he was locked in, and spread flames all through wherever she could until she reached that point.
I knew in chapter 13 when she said, you deserve this, Arthur, and all that. I was like,
there's something more to that.
Yeah, that seemed way more sinister than it sounded. But anyway, Ironwood picks his gun up, he points it at them, and Cinder simply looks at him, smirks, and says, and that's checkmate. Which kind of fits
ties back to the chess piece.
In the intro. Well, yeah, that, and plus, in the intro of Volume 8, Salem and Ironwood were on a chessboard, remember? So that kind of goes with that. And, I mean, he decides not to fire. And what we've all been predicting since really the end of Volume 6 when we saw Atlas falls. It falls right onto Mantle and just completely destroys it. Now, this was heartbreaking.
Not all of Mantle, but the water takes care of the rest.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much done. Robin and Crow are watching, and then, Marrow, Harriet, and Elm join them, and,
completely
all of them.
Different from for Harriet.
Harriet, so like it's not in this shot, but she covers her mouth in shock, So I think officially Harriet has pretty much joined the group.
Else.
Yeah.
I always said she'd be the last one. She did.
Yeah. Now this was heartbroken.
This got me even more.
Because it's not voiced, but you can tell by reading Crow's lips that he's screaming Ruby and Yang's names. So, yeah, now Crow's going to think his two nieces are dead.
Well, here's the other thing also. Like I said, none of them know
about
the portals.
Yeah.
So, they're going to assume all of this. They don't even know, it's completely different from Winter.
Yeah. So,
but, I mean, they might know from Winter that...
Yeah, but I mean, Winter's going to think they're dead as well.
Yeah, that's what she's going to say that. But, I mean, like, as far as the portals and stuff go...
Now, this water rushes in, and a lot of people are asking where this water came from. I
noticed when we were above, there is water all around with fog. So, it's the...
I thought maybe the heat from the collision and all that might have unfrozen some ice, but that makes sense.
But it also, there was that huge, it was all dug out. The perimeter, it was dug out. So as Atlas came down, it didn't go back to where it was because it wasn't suspended directly over it.
Yeah. So water completely overtakes Atlas and Mantle. I don't have it here, but Salem and Cinder just fly away. I made the comment in our reaction that they just wiped Atlas and Mantle off the face of the planet, and they're just flying off like Mary Poppins. But now. A few other people have made this connection. Atlas, could it be a play on Atlantis? Because if you think of it, Atlantis, before it sunk into the ocean, it was this grand kingdom that everyone had heard of. and it eventually sunk to the bottom of the ocean.
And that's kind of what Ironwood built it to be.
Yeah, Atlas was like the greatest
That
kingdom
would fit in
Remnant.
fairy tales because of Little Mermaid and all that.
So now it's sunk to the waters. So after that, we get the end credits, and we get.
I lost it again. Like, I just pretty much the entire last half.
Yeah, like
I didn't stop crying.
Like, because when we first hear the end credits song, it's sometimes hard to place who the song is about. Because if it's used in the show, the RWBY songs are usually from a certain character's point of view or multiple characters. But the moment I heard about looking up at a star and all that, I was like, it's a Penny song. And it's funny, this song, like Arnold said, is a double-edged sword. It has some upbeat moments, but at the end of the day, it's a very heartbreaking song because there's a lot of lyrics in it where you can tell it's pretty much a song from Penny to RWBY, because the name of the song is Friend. And they even threw in a lyric that says, you saw through the nuts and bolts and all. I was like, really? Did you have to give us a play on the whole nuts and bolts ship? But it's pretty much a friend song from Penny to RWBY, and it was heartbreaking. It really was. Like, I've still not listened to the whole song again all the way through with the lyrics because
it's going to take some time.
It's too fresh. We'll wait until the full soundtrack comes out.
I know it's like, I do see it's towards, obviously towards RWBY, but it's also towards everybody as well, especially Winter and all that. But there's key points that do point to RWBY just because of the connection they had, because it took, like I had predicted though, took RWBY to bring her out of certain things, as well as Nora. So it is fitting, and yeah, it's going to take a while before I can listen to that again.
The other songs listed, For Every Life, which might be the intro, I'm not sure. The Sky is Falling, The Truth, Awake, which looks to be... Yeah, that is Casey's band, Okay Goodnight, that performs that. It doesn't say a vocalist, so I can't remember if that... I haven't listened to the song outside the show, I can't remember... It's got to have vocals, I'd say. I think I said something in the reaction that it was an instrumental, but it's because, when you first see something, you don't fully rationalize it until later.
For me, it's all blurry, so...
Yeah. Be Strong and Hit Stuff, which is a Nora song. Then there's a song called Treasure. I believe that's the song that was playing during Team RWBY's reuniting, though I think... because of the lyrics that played during Blake and Yang's reunion, that's either going to be a Blake to Yang song, like how All That Matters was, or it's a straight up Bumblebee song. But then again, if it's a Blake song, but it's in relation to Yang, it'll still be a Bumblebee song. So we got to wait till all the lyrics are out. So, and then we get they even include all of their pets and everything.
The babies too. Above that, I noticed.
Well, yeah, it's babies that were born during the production of Volume 8. So
yeah, because I know you said you something about potato chip.
I was like, it's pets. But then we get an after credit scene, which we did not get one in Volume 7, but we got one in Volume 8, and boy, does it bring up some questions. Okay, so we start in this water and we go up and we see Crescent Rose in the sand, which is a parallel to the end of the intro when we see Crescent Rose all by itself in the snow. I got Kingdom Hearts vibes here.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of too. And then your tweet that you came up with.
Yeah. I've been having these weird thoughts lately. But,
Hey, I've been saying it since the outfit change. The belts, the zippers, Square Kingdom, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts. That's where all of those come from, in my opinion.
So, automatically, this tells us that whatever happens in between falling through that void to this new world, you don't disintegrate, you don't die, because Crescent Rose is...
obviously in one piece.
Yes. Another thing I noticed was those are some big ass seashells. Are there like giant animals in this world or something?
Yeah, I noticed those are pretty big shells too.
So, is this the world that the vaults take place in? So far, we don't know yet. But
The feeling you get from the brightness and the colors and everything and all this kind of makes me think it is.
Yeah.
Or it's one of the worlds in between the vaults. Like, if you get what I mean. Like, that connects them. Because the vaults are all set for each relic. But I think this is something that leads to them. This might be that connection.
I've got a theory for that. So originally we said maybe the world they went to was going to be like an Alice in Wonderland thing. Others have said Wizard of Oz. I think Cal and Hunter said this could even be a play on Neverland because Peter Pan lives in a big oak tree. But since this is in like a whole other realm, this tree, which Hunter said that the leaves on it look like multicolored cotton candy, I think this could be Yggdrasil, the life tree, the sacred tree, which is pretty much where Asgard and all that is, that connects the 9 realms. And that's not just...
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, this is not MCU Thor stuff. This is legit Norse mythology. So I'm wondering if this world is something like Valhalla, where it's the in-between, and, it could be something of an afterlife.
So time would not, and it would make sense with the time theory that we thought. It would not, the time here would be different.
Yeah, but I don't think it's anything like a few minutes in Remnant's world is like months in this world.
Well, no, I know that.
I don't think it'll have a concept of time. Who knows?
That's what I meant. The whole concept time thing.
But
would fit with that.
But I've already seen people say, just because Yang went in first, she's already been there for like 2 months. By the time RWBY, Blake, and Weiss, yeah. Because if that was true, I think
they're going to end up on different places along this beach.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So here's the thing. Will we see past dead characters? We don't know yet because we don't know if this is we don't know if this is the afterlife or if this is where you go when you die in RWBY. But if it is, that could lead to several things. Now, for one, will we see Summer Rose? Personally, neither me or Jess think so because we are one of the small camps that thinks that Summer is not dead.
Until something is confirmed otherwise.
Yeah. So...
Or seen to confirm otherwise, then...
So I think each character may see someone that is in relation to their story. Penny, RWBY heartbreakingly will see will find Penny. Weiss, I think very well could find Jacques. Yang,
which would fit too.
Yeah.
The last expression that we saw of him.
Since Yang doesn't have any other character that has died that would really be a connection to her besides Summer, which, like I said, I don't think Summer is dead. So I think Blake and Yang will find each other and they will have to deal with Adam again. Neo will find Roman, and that's where she'll finally learn that Cinder lied to her and that RWBY didn't kill him. And so that might, I don't know if Neo will join the others, but it will at least keep her from not attacking them anymore. And John, which I think will make a lot of people cry, we'll see Pyrrha.
I'll cry.
We may finally see Pyrrha in the new engine, and we may finally at least get somewhat of an Arcos reunion.
Thought of something else to connect with some of the whole everyone comparing to Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy and 13-2. Lightning falling.
Oh. Well.
The whole idea of her falling through this void into Valhalla.
Yeah.
That connection, not everything else, but that connection.
Which that was a different conception of Valhalla. This is But
I meant the whole concept, not that perception of it.
It kind of does fit that, with all the vaults being separate, the Spring Maiden Vault being in a desert and the winter the winter relic being a spring-like setting. Yggdrasil connects all the 9 realms, so this could be the realm where all of those are connected, along with where Remnant is and all that. Like it's just all connected, and this is the tree that binds it all together. It's the sacred tree. It's the tree of life. Now, of course, Team RWBY, Jean, and Neo are not dead, so they're going to have to find a way out. So I think Volume 9, this is where all of Volume 9 will take place. This is how I would do it, personally. Volume 9 is still going to be technically still within the Atlas arc, so we won't see new outfits. Yang may finally take her bomber jacket off. RWBY might have her sleeveless look. Blake might take her jacket off and be in her cat suit. I don't know about Weiss. I don't think they've shown an alternate for her. But this will still count part of the Atlas arc. So
the gloves in the top part of her coat may come off,
but I would like to see them not deal with Vacuo at all, because that would lean more toward the Vacuo arc. So I would like to actually see, as far as Ren, Nora, Oscar, Emerald, Winter, and all them, I would like to see their fates remain a mystery until Volume 10, and us just stick with Team RWBY, Jean, and Neo inside this realm, just because I think this could be a volume that could deal with a lot of lore, us learn a bunch of stuff. And if we do go back to the outside world, I would like to see them more focus on Crow and them, because they're still in that area of Atlas. But who knows how it goes. I would like for all of Volume 9 to take place within this world, just because I think there would be so much they could do with it.
I still think we will see glimpses of the others in Vacuo. It won't focus on Vacuo, but them.
I don't know. I would just rather wait till Volume 10 to do all that, really, because there's just so much they could do here, and I don't want...
They're not going to focus on them at all.
I don't know. I would just rather see this be like more of a spiritual journey for Team RWBY, and it just focus on them for once. Because sometimes I feel like we lose opportunities by focusing on too many characters in one volume, especially since Volume 9 is going to be shorter. That's the other worry that I have of them focusing too much. We may lose stuff in translation because we got to show this, but who knows? I mean,
I still think we'll see glimpses of that, because one, they're going to have to touch on the fact that they think, they're all dead.
Well, who knows? I mean, we went through most of Volume 6 without seeing Team Juniper. So, I mean, we could see them maybe for one episode and then not see them again until toward the end.
I didn't mean multiple episodes. I meant even if it was just one, we'd see glimpses of everybody else.
Because I just don't know what they would do.
You just think my theories are wrong.
Well, no. I just don't know where it would really lead to at this point. Because it's like, they would... Because, see, it's kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't. If they focus too much on the others, there will be people who complain that they're not getting enough of what's going on inside here. But if they show too little, people will complain, why aren't they showing what's going on with the others, So it's I just don't know how they're going to fit it all in into a shorter volume. I just don't. But then again, we don't know what they exactly mean by shorter volume. We don't know if it's lesser chapters or if it's just shorter episodes. I think we haven't had a short episode since Volume 6. Wasn't there an episode of Volume 6 that was just 10 minutes long or something like that?
I don't remember. I know there was a slightly shorter one. I don't think it was that short, though.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. But, yeah. I'm excited for Volume 9. I really am.
I'm not excited for the hiatus, so Ruby, bring Chubby back.
Yeah, Chibi would be nice.
It would help.
But I'm excited for this volume because I love it when it's doing the thing that most animes do, is it's go to the other realm. It's like, seeing the other world in Dragon Ball for the first time, or seeing the spirit world in Avatar for the first time. So it's going to be cool to see this more alternate world in Remnant, because, Volume 1 through 8 have all taken place within Remnant. So now we're going someplace we've never been before, where the rules may be different and all that. So it's going to be very, very interesting. I can't wait to hear more info about it. Sadly, we probably won't hear much until RTX.
I have another request. I want to see Raven. I've waited long enough. I want to see Raven.
Well, if I still like. I mean, she could find Crow and ask him what the heck's going on, but and then that's how she learns what's happened to everyone. But I'm still questioning if her semblance would work in another realm. But that's what could happen. You know, she learns about what's been going on in Atlas. She tries to go to Yang, freaks out because she can't find her, so she goes to Crow and asks, you know, what's happened, where's Yang, you know. But yeah, just this was a dark volume. I think it's probably I think it's darker than Volume 3, which I kind of appreciate because I like darker stuff. That's why Empire Strikes Back is still one of my favorite Star Wars films, along with Revenge of the Sith. I like darker stuff. So yeah, we're probably gonna have to do a video about this possibly being like Valhalla or something after the finale is public to everybody. But yeah, that is our analysis of the finale of Volume 8. I mean, I hate to see RWBY end again, but I think after this one we kind of need a break. A little RWBY break. Like I said, we'll continue to be doing more RWBY episodes. We've still got it, like, you know, what happened to the channel has put us behind a lot. So, we need to finish up our RWBY Fairy Tale Theory series. I've got to catch up on a bunch of Let's Plays.
I have a lot of stuff to catch up on too, which this channel disappearing kind of cut a lot of things to at least to a standstill.
Well, yeah, we went several days without doing any recording at all, so it was kind of weird getting back into it to
even though I know we had what is now a backup channel, and we had talked about putting more stuff up on there, you know, cosplay stuff, Let's Plays, other videos, but it got to the point, you know, gathering all that to start over, especially since some of them have missing pieces that were still on this channel, finding and re-uploading things, that became an unsure thing, especially with our internet. It's just, but now that we have it back, we just have a huge backlog to catch up on too.
Yeah, so we'll be playing catch up for a little bit, but I'd rather be playing catch up than starting all over. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, Jess has got cosplay stuff that she's getting ready. We still got a con vlog that we still need to put up. As far as my Let's Plays goes, I am going to go back to Resident Evil Remake and finish that. I'm also going to start Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town very soon. I started playing Resident Evil 7 on the backup channel. I'm going to leave it there until I finish Remake. Then I'm going to start putting 7 on this channel. But yeah, March has been a pretty rough month. So
yeah, and apologize in advance for any other delays in uploads, even because there's a lot of flooding here, and the weather's messing with our internet even more so.
Yeah, so hopefully if you watch this video all the way through, sorry, hun, if you watch our reaction to the finale and it seems very choppy, like with edits, it's because it thunderstormed all day long Saturday.
We got a break for like the next 2 days, but the thing is here, weather is so unpredictable, and now, thanks to, 2 years ago, flooding is a huge possibility here, and it's been happening a lot more because the ground is just too saturated to take anything else. And being here, I mean, no one can really prepare for it. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. So if our finale reaction seems off, it's because internet was awful. It was buffering on us a lot. So, like, we had to sit there for a good while sometimes to let it buffer enough to where we could do our reaction. So yeah, if you notice a bunch of edits, that's why. But yeah, I think we've rambled on long enough. Like I said, a lot more stuff coming. We are going to do a podcast-like show once the finale airs for everyone, talking about the entire volume, plus unrelated stuff. Like, you know, we might talk about food for 30 minutes. Who knows? But
if I'm hungry, that's a possibility.
Yeah, like it's going to be RWBY related, but also just, you know, it's going to be a chill, laid back podcast like format where we just talk about the volume and talk about random things. But as always, guys, this is Cannan.
This is Jessie.
We love you all very, very much. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. I know it's going to be a long road to Volume 9, but hey, it'll be here before we know it. We'll see Team RWBY in Valhalla, and Blake better kiss Yang when she sees her. That's all I'm going to say. Take care of yourselves, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.